This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now in this video, I'm going to teach you how to get 2% better every day. And it is basically the 1% rule from Atomic Habits, just everything is multiplied. So this is the rule that I applied to my life that changed everything. This is Project 30, how to get 2% better every day. I'm going to be talking about everything from shifting identity to building new habits to rewiring your dopamine. Now before applying the 1% rule, essentially what would happen was I would go on this good streak, but then I would always fall off. I'd have the good habits, I'd have the discipline in check, and then all of a sudden, a matter of weeks go by, and I'm just back to square one. Now that is why you have to build on a good foundation, which is why Atomic Habits comes in, because that is where you make very consistent change towards where you want to be. And now stay with me till the very end, because I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to start living my dream life at 21 years old. And that is using discipline, using systems, and using the 2% rule. So part number one, the self-improvement trap. So there are 4 pillars to discipline. There is mental discipline, there's physical discipline, spiritual discipline, and also financial discipline. And there are also the 4 types of freedom, which are the same. Now a lot of people, they get rich younger and they get to discipline last. Some people, they work on their habits and they work on their discipline, their mindset, their spirituality and everything. And then money is the last step. Now for me, that was the case. And I'll tell you why it's so important. You see, for me, I worked on everything. I've been on self-improvement since I was 16, so I'm 21 right now. In all that span of 5 years, I built the habits. I rewired my dopamine. I started to do the things that were good for me. And in general, I just started to live the life in accordance with the person that I wanted to be. And as a result, I was able to achieve my goals. I was able to, improve my physique and do all these things. But money was the last thing. I had worked on all of these years, but I completely neglected, making money and improving my finances, my income. So in a way, that is the advanced spectrum of self-improvement. So you have all of these habits, you have the foundation, you have the discipline, the consistency, the mindset, and everything that goes behind, the person who's showing up to everything. Like when you think about the results you see in the gym, the results you see with your relationship, with yourself, with your mindset, with your physique, with the amount of money you make, with your business. The results you see in any possible realm of human endeavor ties back to the person behind those things, right? The person who shows up to anything in your life, which is you're the person who shows up to everything. That is the most important thing. That is the thing that will change everything. If you can dive deep at an identity level and change the person behind everything, then you win. Now I'm going to show you how, so let's talk about identity shifting. Now in Atomic Habits, James Clear, we all know that every single habit you do is a vote for your future self. It is a vote for the person that you want to become. If you tell yourself you want to be a disciplined, successful millionaire in 3 years, and day to day you just spend all your time working, all your time, exercising and living a disciplined, regimented routine, then you are essentially telling your brain time and time again that I am gonna be this person. I'm this person. I'm this person. I'm this person. And then eventually, your brain makes it a reality. Now, if you have the same goal, right? If you have the same exact goal of, say, you want to achieve millionaire status, you want to become this, you want to become a professional athlete, but you're spending your days just playing chess, doing random things, wasting your time, doom scrolling, and doing everything and anything besides the things that are actually gonna get you to your goal, then your brain stops trusting you. You lose self-trust, you lose a bit of your identity in the process, and because of that, if your brain can't trust you, then you won't get the result. So in identity, there are 2 things we have to focus on. Number 1 is focusing on the actions that lead to the identity. So identity doesn't come out of thin air. It is created as a result of what you see, what you do, and how you spend your time. So how you think creates how you feel becomes an emotion, that emotion creates a vibration, and that vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you or repels things from you. Only think about what you want, don't think about what you don't want. That is a really fire quote I came across the other day. And the way it relates to all of this is your identity is essentially shaped by your habits. Now let's talk about how to build proper habits. We're also going to talk about the habits, and different habits have different outcomes, right? One habit can improve your physical health. One habit is just for mental health. One habit could be your financial health. Now self-improvement is great. It gets you moving. It is the foundation. And I think that without self-improvement, then anything you do will fail. Now what I mean is I tried dropshipping. I tried SMMA. I tried marketing, agency. I tried sales. I tried so many different things. But the person behind those things, myself, was not disciplined, did not have the foundational consistency, and wasn't the person who was able to achieve success. So what happened was I tried all of those things and I failed every single time. So I had to go back to the basics, which was self-improvement, habits, mindset, identity, seeing yourself in a different way, self-image, and all these things. And I went and I built a proper foundation. So then when I started YouTube, I started to see results and I was able to continue. I was able to start, never stop. I was able to push through and keep posting videos even when I didn't see results. And now I'm here. We just hit 100,000 subscribers. I'm so grateful to all of you. This has been a dream of mine. I think the YouTube plaque should be coming in about a week or something. Who knows, you might see it in the next video. But the point is, self-improvement is great, but it's easy to get complacent and get caught up with the habits where you forget the advanced system. Now that is the foundation, but eventually to sustain your life, to sustain your dream life, the life that you know you don't need to escape from, you are going to need to make money. You're going to need to make money, whether that's from your business or from your 9 to 5. And for those of you who are ready to start making money using systems, using discipline, and using mindset to scale your income, I have something special for you. Stay till the end of this video. Now let's talk about the habits, right? You need habits for the 4 areas. For your physical health, you need habits. You need exercise, stretching, mindset, eating healthy. For your mind, you need habits like reading, like journaling, like meditating, like, spending time outside. For your soul and your spirituality, you also need habits, right? You need meditation. You need to spend time in silence, practice stillness, practice gratitude, and all those things. And also for finances, right? For financial health, you need habits. And those habits are business, working on your business, learning high income skills, thinking about nothing else, and obsessing over the one goal, which is to start a business, to achieve success in that realm or domain. So for such a long time, I focused on everything, the habits, and then the last step was focusing on the business. And that's when I started to make money so I could live my dream life, so I could achieve the things I wanted to achieve. So I had the time and the freedom to be able to read for 1 hour, to be able to meditate for 1 hour in the morning. Like, think about it. If you have a 9 to 5, if you were stuck and tied, living paycheck to paycheck, like, you just don't have time for the things that are going to help you. You don't have time to spend 2 hours in the gym. You don't have time to read for 3 hours. You don't have time or energy to work on your business for 2 to 3 hours. Now, if you're here, this year is going to be the year that everything changes for you, because you know you're ready for more. You know that you're ready to make a change and finally just change your life and become 2% better every day. Now, part number 2, the foundations, the first percent. So let's talk about the foundations as Atomic Habits talks about. Now, I was in a call with one of our members inside Discipline OS, and he dropped me with this quote. It goes like this: if you take care of the minutes, the hours will take care of themselves. Essentially, if you take care of these small habits, if you build the foundation first, then you will become rich. You will become successful. Think about this. Every single successful person reads, right? 99%. Maybe there's exceptions, of course. There's always exceptions. But when you look at like successful people in general, they read. They read books, they journal, they do these habits. They have a routine, they have habits, they have a set and collection of things that they do that tells them, I am this type of person, that reaffirms the identity that they want to become. Now, of course, meditating is not going to get you rich, right? Reading is not going to get you rich. Journaling is not going to get you rich. But what is going to get you rich is those things make you the person who is able to then take the actions consistently, do the hard work, show up, and then that is going to make you rich, right? All these habits we talk about, the goal is not the habits themselves. Of course, the habits themselves are good as well. But the main goal is the habits make you the person who can achieve anything. Like, I know for a fact, if it wasn't YouTube, I would have stuck to something else. I would have become successful with something else. I would have achieved my goals in another realm. Because of years of just focusing on the foundations, building that first 1%, working on the habits, and building that identity, right? The foundation, the structure. Because I spent so much time working on that, like, now I know I'm able to start anything, like any realm, any business model, and I can succeed. But before I had the foundation, I didn't believe that. So the foundations are actually the most important thing. A lot of people, they want to make money, they want to get rich, they want to achieve a dream physique, but they just don't want to work on the discipline. They don't want to go back to the basics. And yes, the basics, they are boring. It is not fun to read, to meditate, until you get used to it, until it becomes enjoyable. But at the very, very beginning, it's not really going to be that fun. Because to get to this next advanced stage that I'm going to take you through, which is part 3 of this video, you are going to need to first dial in the basics, right? If you don't have the basics dialed, if you're not the person who can show up, like if you can't show up and watch these videos with full focus and watch from beginning to the end, then how do you expect to focus for hours on deep work? Like, I tell this to people inside my community, Discipline OS. I tell them, like, if you can't be consistent with Discipline OS, if you can't show up in the community, how do you expect to show up in something that matters, in the business, in the thing that you're going to do? How you do anything is how you do everything. If you can build the small habits, then you can build everything else. Now, if you take care of the minutes, then the hours take care of themselves. Part number 3, a different kind of discipline, the 2%. So we talked about the 1%. The 1% is the foundations. It is just being 1%, getting 1% better every day, focusing on the habits, big or small, that are going to take you to the place you want to go, right? Doing the identity work, focusing on the systems, creating a goal, creating a planner, a system, a to-do list, a checklist, focusing on the habits, and then doing deep work. Now, the 2%, this is the advanced method. Now, the past 6 months have changed my life. I went from making essentially no money, $0 a month, to now living a comfortable life. Being able to live my dream life, do what I want, have the freedom, live in a nice place. And all this happened. I'm able to live my dream life. I'm able to do all these nice things just because I decided to. I decided 6 months ago that I'm going to complete this step so I never have to worry about anything ever again. I can just like live my dream life with no expectancy. So I started the business. I doubled down on YouTube. I started focusing on all these things. I invested into mentorships in myself and coaches and others. And this is the phase where I went from just basic self-improvement and I had the foundation to now going a step further and making that money, scaling the income, scaling the business, and doing deep work. Essentially, we all want great levels of success. Now, success means making the money you want to be making. It means getting rich. It means living a good life, having a good health, good physique, and having good relationships. It all comes back to health, wealth, and relationships. These are the most important pillars of living a good life. Now, that is the level of success, right? But to achieve that level of success, which is why I talk about all these things, you need the foundations. You need the discipline, the habits, the consistency, the journaling, all that stuff. Because that is going to make you into the person who is able to achieve that success. So I used this space and I didn't stop there. I wasn't like complacent with, I'm just going to spend my life reading, meditating, journaling. But then I used that consistency. I used that identity to go a step further and work on and build the business. I started working on like very, very minute details, personal deep productivity. I literally started to analyze every single input, like every minute of my time. How is it being spent? Every input equals the output, right? Inputs create your output. So if my inputs are not dialed, then how can I expect a different result? If I wake up and I do the same things and I think the same way and I procrastinate in the same way, then how do I expect a different result? Now, the goal here is to build a proper foundation and then also become a jack of all trades, right? You don't want to be the guy who's insanely jacked but broke. You don't want to be the guy who's rich but out of shape and has no discipline and just prioritizes pleasure over purpose. You want to be the person who has success in all realms. And that is the life that is going to fulfill you the most. Because in years down the line, like if you just look back and you're like, I wish I did more, that is one of the worst things that could happen. If you think to yourself, I wish I could have done more, I wish I could have like put more initiative into my business, into myself, into my routine, that thought is going to haunt you. So it is all about taking that 1% better every day, getting the foundations and then doubling that, making it 2% better every day. And then the final step is using all that discipline, all those habits, and actually funneling it into your business, into your career, your craft, your passion, whatever you are working on your business. So you can use those things like the confidence to build the success of your dreams. Now, you've definitely heard of the self-made millionaire, right? They lose everything that they had, and then for some reason, months later, they're back to where they were, right? They lose everything, but then they gain everything back. And that's because they have the systems in place. That's because they've built the identity and they've built that 2%. Now, for those of you who are ready for the advanced part of self-improvement, where you actually use discipline, systems, and identity to make more money. So that's what I've done for myself and many others as well. So if you're ready to stop wasting time and scale your income, then click the link below and book a call. You'll speak with us directly, and if you're a good fit, I'll show you exactly how we can get started. Now, there are only limited spots available, so take action and book a call below. And remember, a bad workout always beats a skipped one. Take care, and you got this.